We're going to take some advice now on a topic which impacts 1 in 3 Australian families. It's the subject of divorce, and we're going to hear specifically how it impacts children and some ways parents and grandparents can help them. Parenting expert Di Wilcox, welcome.
Hello Trace, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You say you're hearing a lot about divorce in your work with Perth children at the moment.
Yes, in our Magic Coat workshops, one of the activities we do with our children is we actually ask them to list all their worries and anxieties. And we're seeing more and more children write things such as mum and dad are fighting a lot, mum and dad are getting a divorce, we're scared mum and dad will get a divorce, and then they start fearing what will happen to them if this happens.
Okay, well, divorce is an extremely difficult time, of course, for adults. The children can sometimes be forgotten in this situation, can't they?
Look, divorce is extremely stressful for everybody involved, but children do sometimes get forgotten. And I think there's a bit of a misconception that children will just be resilient and adapt and bounce back from it all. But that will only happen if they're nurtured through the process. So they need to know what's going on, what's going to happen to mum and dad, to them and to their siblings, because the fear of the unknown really frightens children.
Of course. Well, what are some of the feelings children have during their parents' divorce?
Well, it's very sad, but many of the children that I speak to have a sense of responsibility. They blame themselves for their parents' divorce. So it's important that we talk our children through and help them understand that it's not because of them. They also have anxiety about what's going to happen, and they also have anxiety about what should they be saying to mum and dad through this process. And many children now are taking on the role of counselling mum and dad through their emotions, and you know, that's not okay because they need to have a childhood.
All right, what else can parents, even grandparents, do to help them navigate their new normal?
We all know that divorce can be quite nasty, but if parents are able to put their own feelings aside and able to put their children first, sit the children down together and explain to them what's going on. Tell them that they're still very much loved. Help them understand that you will make sure that there's minimal disruption to their life, even though that there'll be 2 houses that they'll be living in. It's really important they have contact with both parents. And one of the things I'm seeing a lot of that we need to stop is parents manipulating the children to hate the other parent. What we need to remember there is that the children see themselves in each parent. So when you criticise your partner, you're criticising your child, and it really affects their self-esteem and worth.
Yeah, reducing that negativity, I suppose. What are some of the long-term impacts of divorce on children?
Look, long-term impact on children is it really affects their ability to develop their own relationships with people. They fear those close relationships with others because they think it's going to happen to them. And now, I'm not saying that happens in every case. You know, in some really good divorce cases, if children are nurtured through it properly, they can be fine. But in really nasty cases where the children's needs aren't put, that's when you're going to see problems.
Important issue to discuss. All right, Di Wilcox, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.